All right, Jessica Morse, thank you so much for joining me for the Damn, I Wish Somebody Would Have Told Me That virtual summit, the summit to help aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in the trenches figure this whole thing out without having to go through all of the obstacles, hurdles, landmines that we've gone through, or try to avoid as much as possible, right? Like just to help. So tell the listeners a little bit about you, what you do, and why you believe it matters.
Well, what I do is have been in the industry of healing for about 20 years, and that's shifted to specifically using hypnotherapy for health and healing. And so I have such a love and adoration for women because I am amazed by our ability to give love and to do so much for others. And it almost seems superhuman at times what women are capable of. And the sad thing is that oftentimes we just don't turn that love inward and that caring and nurturing that we tend to be so good at towards ourselves. And so personally, I know that I've struggled with weight and how that's left me feeling. So feeling sad and hopeless because I tried so many things and failed and failed and failed. And so I just have a passion to help women to get out of that place of that hopelessness, that depression, the negative self-image, and get to a place where they are able to achieve long-lasting weight release and enjoy all the benefits of having, what comes along with having wonderful, beautiful health, and to turn that love, inwards too. And why it matters, because we matter, women matter. And when everybody listening, you matter too. And so we have to take care of ourselves, and it is absolutely possible for you. And so that's why it's so important, because we matter and we are worthy of having this life and this health that we deserve.
Yeah, it's about putting ourselves as a priority. I mean, so many of us put our own needs on the back burner. I know I did that for way too long, and I thought, oh, I'll just do it later. And what I found was honoring myself first is what's giving me a greater sense of fulfillment. And what's really interesting is the more I focus on myself, the better I show up in other areas of my life, which is really, really rewarding.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful surprise when you experience self-love, and showing up for yourself, how much more you're even capable of.
Absolutely. So what do you think aspiring entrepreneurs or women that are looking to get their business off the ground, what is the one challenge, obstacle you think that holds them back a lot?
I think the biggest obstacle is just our belief in ourselves. So if we don't believe that we can do it, we won't be able to do it. And so our beliefs are our thoughts that go through our head over and over again. They're just habits of thought. And so, a lot of times when we dream into what we want, we have all these desires and these wishes. And on the heels of those dreams are these self-defeating thoughts of, I can't do it, or I don't think I will be able to do it. And so really getting to a place where we believe it, then we can take long, sustained action towards it and reach our goals. So I think that belief is the most important thing to have: belief in yourself and belief that you can do it.
Absolutely. All right, so we are transitioning to the 3 damn, I wish somebody would have told me that tips. What is your tip number 1 in no particular order?
Okay, and I did have slides to share.
Okay.
Do you want me to share those?
Yes, whatever you'd like.
Okay. Let's see. Tip number 1. And I just have to say, Patty, that I wish that you were there when I first started my business, because 3 tips is fantastic, but 99 could have really helped me. So Tip number one is just because you feel fear doesn't mean you can't or that you shouldn't do it. So fear is just our body telling us that we're growing and we're stretching. And if we can change the F word from fear to feedback, it's just feedback that we're growing, that we're daring to dream, and that we're taking action towards our dreams. And that is really beautiful feedback.
All right, so it's coming up. We are looking for tip number 2. What do you have?
Tip number 2 is that there are going to be so many challenges and unknowns during the process, and you have to keep going. So when we go on this journey as entrepreneurs, we learn that everything has a solution. And so every challenge has a solution and can be overcome. And so the biggest thing that we need to overcome is our own limiting beliefs.
Absolutely.
And as we, overcome these challenges, it really boosts our confidence and our strength to continue on.
Yep. Okay, what about tip number 3?
Okay, so tip number 3 is that to have a strong why, alignment, love, and passion for what you do. And so for me, I started on this journey of health and healing, having gone through a very difficult experience with my mom, who was diagnosed with breast cancer very young. And she helped me learn a lot about health and life and death. And so I chose a career in healing. And it wasn't until recently that I truly niched down and was able to have my own business, that I could do things in a way that I was truly aligned with. And so when we allow ourselves to align and step into this alignment, it makes it easy. We have doors that open for us, and it just is so much more fulfilling.
For sure. For sure. Having that alignment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. All right. So those are the tips number 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to repeat back to make sure that we got it right. Tip number 1 is feedback, not failure, right? Is just really recontextualizing what it means, because so many of us are so scared of failure when in essence is feedback. It's funny that you have that one. I always say that. I'm like, you guys, it's feedback. It's just feedback. It's just data. It's just giving us data. And I can say, as someone who is in different groups and have been for a while, just to hone in on the marketing skills, the majority of the groups that I'm in, for whatever reason, is a lot of men. And men really look at this as a fundamental truth. They're like, oh, it's just feedback. It's so interesting. Whereas we women, we like gravitate to it as if it were like really failure. So I'm like, no, we have to harness that. So I think that first one is so killer because it's so true. Number 2, keep going. How many times have you been there where you feel like you just want to give up? You're like, is it worth it? Is it, it's that old fable, 3 feet, how many feet from gold or whatever? Have you ever heard that story?
Sure. No, I haven't.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 3 feet or how many specific feet from gold, but it's kind of like where you're digging for gold and there's an image that literally shows the person is with their little pitchfork and they give up, but they're like right there from the gold. Right. And so they gave up too soon. And the whole fable is like, no, you have to keep going. And number 3 is having a strong why, like you talked about, is really essential, because that's in essence tied to what's going to keep you going. Right.
Right. Yes.
I love it. So do you have anything to impart on these full 3, how it's helped you, how it's impacted you in your own career?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is that we can apply these 3 whys to any goal that we have. And so whether it be, for becoming a business owner and being successful at that, and or, with your health goals or anything, these tools can be used for so many areas of our life.
Perfect. And how do people find out more about you, your work, how to get a hold of you? What do you have coming up?
Yeah, so you can find me at thrivingwithjessica.com. And I specialize in weight release through hypnosis. And so a couple months or so, I do a free training and hypnosis around weight release. And so you can go to thrivingwithjessica.com and get more information about that. And there's also free hypnosis audios there. And I'd love if you stopped by and said hi on Facebook and Instagram. I'm also there at Thriving with Jessica. And I have a YouTube channel as well with my free hypnosis offerings. And that's also at Thriving with Jessica.
I love it. So your links, your social media handles are going to be right below this video. So make sure to connect with Jessica. Thank you so much for sharing and imparting the things that have helped you in your own business. I'm sure it'll be a welcome epiphany that somebody's going to take, or many people are going to take and apply to their own business. So I appreciate you greatly for sharing this with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Patty. It's such an honor.
Thank you.